Hello, I'm Karen Patterson, CEO for the municipality of Killarney, Turtle Mountain. I would like to introduce some of the background information on our municipality. Killarney is in southwestern Manitoba. Our municipality is in the Pembina River watershed. Killarney Lake is situated in the centre of town and the Long River to the south of town. The water of this project empties into the Pembina River, which is just upstream from Rock Lake, Swan Lake, and then eventually Lake Winnipeg.
Hi, my name is Randy Hodge. I'm a municipal councillor in the municipality of Killarney, Turtle Mountain. Local landowner. I sit on the Lake Action Quality Committee. Also on the sub-district of Long Badger for the Pembina Valley Water District. Because Killarney surrounds Killarney Lake, we have lots of concerns about algae runoff, drought, and all kinds of water issues. So the community as a whole is quite interested in protecting our waterways. For many, many years we had bluestoned Killarney Lake. We are required to stop doing that, so I think it was 1994 that we stopped, and almost immediately we had a huge algae bloom and had for several years thereafter. So the Lake Action Committee was created to look for different ways of mitigating that problem. We ended up doing an aeration project. We've got 64 heads, and so far we've seen a marked improvement to the lake. So this also helps out the tourism industry. Killarney is a big tourist town. We've got two fairly major campgrounds right next to the lake, so this helps bring everybody together.
Hi, I'm Connie Blake-Saven. I'm a councillor with Killarney Turtle Mountain. I'm also a farmer. My husband and I have farmed in this area for 45 years. Town here I find is very progressive, and it's been a part of the watershed district for over 30 years. Due to the planning for future development, we needed to account for increased water flow. About 3 or 4 years ago, we experienced some heavy rainfalls and thought we needed to try something different to mitigate the flooding. We had talked to council with regards to this. As a member of the watershed district, I spoke to the watershed district and they suggested a treatment wetland instead of a traditional storm retention pond. This would reduce the runoff flood peak and improve water quality with a host of co-benefits. What we like most about it is that it mimics a natural wetland. There's habitat creation, carbon sequestration, recreation, and it also improves the aesthetics of the land. With climate change, this council is very cognizant of the need for water retention and water filtration in the area, so we're really happy to work with the watershed district. Glad that we have an office in town now, and we're hoping to do more projects with them along this line, so this is kind of exciting.
Hi, I'm Cliff Greenfield, manager of the Pembina Valley Watershed District, and we're partnering with the municipality of Killarney Turtle Mountain and the Lake Winnipeg Basin program on the treated wetland here at Killarney. So development in an urban area typically means a change in the way water flows across the landscape. In an urban area, you have hardened roofs, pavement, compacted ground, and that really changes the amount of infiltration and the amount of runoff. Typically in a watershed, you can measure the amount of precipitation and the amount of runoff in the stream downstream, and typically that's 3 to 5%, which is kind of an incredible number, and it points out that infiltration is most of where the water goes, infiltrating into the ground. So when you disrupt that with development, you have a lot more runoff and a lot less infiltration. We've learned some things from the experience in the city of Winnipeg, where 25 years ago, the typical storm retention pond had a design where there was short grass and gravel around the edge, and sometimes water, sometimes permanent water, and sometimes no water at all. But this design definitely did the job of reducing the flood peaks downstream, but it didn't have any of the other benefits that a naturalized treatment wetland would have. So in the situation here in Killarney, we are incorporating a treatment wetland instead of a typical storm retention pond, or otherwise known as a hole in the ground. And so we're reaping all those benefits that a naturalized wetland would do. Typically with conservation district programming, if you can mimic Mother Nature, you're probably going to have a successful project and many benefits and co-benefits. So with the treatment wetland we're definitely reducing the flood peak downstream, we're being a good neighbor, but we're also improving water quality, creating habitat. We're infiltrating runoff water. And there's also the aesthetics of it and the recreation opportunities. We partnered with the municipality in creating this project. We have a partnership with the Lake Winnipeg Basin Program, which provides some of the funding for the project. Some of the benefits that they want with their funding is nutrient reduction in the Lake Winnipeg watershed, also collaborative governance and Indigenous engagement. So those three aspects are realized in this project. We do have nutrient reduction, of course. We're reducing sediments and nutrients, even heavy metals and chemicals that are coming from an urban environment. They're being treated by those wetland processes. In terms of collaborative governance, we're working with the municipality on an environmentally friendly project and working together. And also with the traditional ecological knowledge or Indigenous engagement, we're really fortunate to have a partnership with the Swan Lake First Nation. So when this project came out, we wanted to incorporate some of that ecological knowledge from the First Nation into the design of this project. So we had a meeting with some leaders at Swan Lake, and we also happened to have some youth there at the meeting, and we added our wetland ecologist that we've hired to help us with the design and implementation of this project. So Chris Penner came out, we met at the Swan Lake First Nation and had a look at some of their wetlands, and then had a discussion about how we incorporate Indigenous knowledge into the management and design of a treatment wetland, and also shared some of the Western science approaches to that. And I think we all realize that traditionally Western thinking to do with wetlands wasn't all that favorable towards wetlands. They were looked at waste areas and not fully appreciated for the multitude of benefits that they would incorporate into the project. In a typical storm retention pond, what you're going to have are geese problems, where geese are totally inundating the area. They're causing issues with, scaring people away and leaving, their residue behind. But a storm retention pond is perfect habitat for geese. Whereas a naturalized wetlands with tall grasses, sedges, and cattails, they like to use it for some part of their life cycle. They're going to go there and get some food and some water, but they're going to loiter somewhere else because those tall grasses and cattails, they could hide predators like cats from the neighborhood. So they don't loiter there. There isn't the same problem with nuisance wildlife that you would be at a normal storm retention pond with short grass and gravel and water. In Killarney, we can have a naturalized wetland that'll be attractive, it'll be cheaper to maintain, and it'll be something that the town can use as a benefit to their neighbors. They're being good neighbors in the watershed, they're providing better water quality for the downstream Pembina River, Rock Lake, and eventually into Lake Winnipeg. So we hope it's something that will catch on in the future in other areas.